Okay, this video is dealing with that, or not that, as the case may be. Alright, I don't know what the deal is. Whether, I hear there's a big supply chain implosion thing. The tire I got, bike shop said it would not alter it to make it fit my bicycle. I left there pissed but still determined to find the tire, to take it back this weekend, to do all of it. I ended up finding one, ordering it, and then it said it'd take about 3 or 4 months to get to me. So I canceled that. I found another one, which I mentioned, and actually had put a link to it in the video. When I was testing the link, I went ahead and read the one review, and apparently he says the size indicated in the advertisement does not match the size of the item, which he states is around 10 inches, not 14 inches. So, and since he was the only review, his was the only review on the item, I just went with that. Because for the most part, I don't return things. I throw them in the corner, and then when I relocate, I trash it. That's basically what happens to that. If I don't out and out just toss it, throw it away. I am not saying that I've never returned. You know the hoverboard? I still don't know if I got refunded for that. I mean, I did go ahead and return it. On the thing that I would be refunded, the money would be refunded once the item got to them. If I would have been credited, if my card was credited, I don't know about it. Okay, I didn't follow up on it. You would think it was, I mean, it's not nothing. But that's the level of aggravation I've had to deal with. Just, I'm trying to arrange everything and keep everything manageable. Because if I have to chase down everyone and start yelling and jumping up and down every time something doesn't fall into place, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Because things nowadays, at least, don't fall into place, okay? It's very messy, it's very inconvenient. Something that supposedly should only take maybe 1 or 2 steps, all of a sudden have to take at least 5 steps, maybe even 6, 7 steps. I'm not going to add another 3, 4, 5, 6 steps to everything to go chase it down to make sure everything's, because it's just not manageable anymore. It isn't. So some things are going to escape you, you know. So, and I want to do that instead of bemoaning the tragedy that is my life. Yeah, bemoaning my situation. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I have a little bit of a cushion at this point in time, which may just vaporize any day, and try out whatever I think is reasonable to try out, whatever option I feel is reasonable to try out, and see how that goes. If things fall into place, beautiful. I'll grab it, I'll hold on to it. If things do not fall into place, I'll tinker with it for a little bit, but after that, I've got to kick it to the curb and try out something else, because forget about it. It'd be never ending, right? Uh, with everything falling apart, it is too much to expect things to just fall into place. It's not going to. You have to be willing to go the extra mile for a little bit to see if you can actually make it manageable. This is no longer manageable, okay? I've changed the couple of blowouts I've had. I've dragged it underneath trains. I've just walked it, taken to public transportation. I've had arguments with bus drivers. I gave it a reasonable shot. And really, I ended up ordering the cheapest inner tubes I could find online, which is $4 and something or other. I ordered 3 of those. I ordered what seemed to be a very good tire levers. It's like plastic things that you slip underneath the tire to take it off the rim, right? So you can get to your inner tube and change it out. I ordered that. And when I've calmed down enough from all the back and forth I've had to go through with my poor little e-bike and all that kind of stuff, I may never calm down, I don't know. But maybe a couple of months down the road, when I've calmed down, I may go ahead and use the inner tubes that I still haven't picked up from the UPS thing, because I had all that. If you saw the previous video, you saw all the stuff I've dragged, because I'm trying to prepare for all this shifting I'm doing now. It should be at the UPS store now. 3 of the cheapest inner tubes I can find, and a good set of tire iron. And I'm going to just try to use my cutter, my box cutter. I almost bought one of those. Went to the auto tool section of one of these Walmarts. I got one of these heavy duty scissors that's supposed to cut through heavy items. But the line was too long, so I was like, I'm going to just try using my box cutter. I'm going to take the frickin' inner tubes. I am going to cut the valve off of it, so I can kind of wrap the inner tubes around the rim without the valve thing getting in the way. And what was it? I think it was a 26-inch. The cheapest inner tube I could find online was a 26-inch thing. So it's too big to just fit around so I'm going to cut it. Where I'm going to cut it is the valve. I'll like cut it either side of the valve. So I'll just have this like rubber tubing thing that I can wrap around. And I'll keep on wrapping it around and whatever until nothing more fits in between the rim and the walls of the inside of the tire. And that's going to be my airless tire. I don't know if I can stuff it well enough to get it to where it gives me a more or less even ride or not. And at this point, I'm not even willing to try. Okay? Because, you know what? It's enough. Enough hassles, enough back and forth, enough. So this week I spent like $100 getting to work. Either using Lyft or using Uber, which I ended up downloading because initially I thought Lyft was cheaper than Uber. But once Lyft sees that you're going to use them every day, or almost every day, the prices start going up. Okay, so I ended up downloading the Uber app again, and now Uber is actually cheaper than Lyft. Plus, Lyft made me wait like 40 minutes, and then I still had to cancel it because the second ride, it made me wait like 10 minutes for the first ride. Then it gave me another driver, and I had to wait like 20 minutes. And then that canceled out. Then they gave me the option of canceling it out without being charged. Then I went ahead and did that. I downloaded Uber, and I went to work using Uber. All right? Needless to say, I cannot afford a tip. So I'm not even tipping these poor people. I'm not going to go through the aggravation of choosing wait and save on the thing. Last time I didn't even bother looking to see how much Lyft was going to charge me. I just went straight with Uber. And they charged me $18, so I said, fine, I'll go with that. I didn't even want to deal with Lyft. Now, so what did I think Uber wanted to charge me 20 something, and then I went and looked at Lyft and saw how much. So I don't know. But for the most part, if Uber is low enough, I'm not even going to deal with Lyft because I can't. That junk they put me through, the thing, and me having to cancel. That left me aggravated enough not to use them unless I have to, unless Uber is just too expensive. So now I'm just going with Uber. But anyway. So I spent $100 getting to work this week. I ordered inner tubes that I'm going to slice up and wrap around this rim one of these days, or not. I don't know. If this supply chain thing ever gets rectified again, and I'm actually able to find an airless tire that will fit the thing, but obviously I'll go with that. But if I have to start experimenting yeah, you know what? I've already had the patience I did not have to spare. I completely blew on this e-bike thing going back and forth. So right at this moment, I'm not going to experiment with it. This thing, just, yeah, forget it. I went to work and asked them to give me a later shift because I don't want to pay $100 to get to work every week. So, yeah. I'm just going to take the public transportation system and, yeah, forget about it. I'll use B-Cycle to run my errands, which I'm doing. I'm using the red line to get to a B-Cycle thing. Because for me to walk to the closest ones, I have to pass my lovely little neighbors, which I've already made videos about that, and I'm not going to do that. So I'll catch the red line, I'll go to the closest thing that has the thing right there and take the bike and go on. That's fine. I use the B-Cycle to run my errands. I requested a later shift, which begins this Sunday, this week. And that's how I'm dealing with my commuting. Houston commuting issues. So, yeah. Between the railroad and bike shops that won't tinker, I mean, they're more than able to adjust that wheel to make it fit. If they don't want to, they're going to, it's a liability for them, so you know what, okay. Up to here, okay? That's fine. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's, It's just better business for them, for you just to, whatever, continually need, but this is not a recreational thing with me. I do not have money coming out of the wazoo. I'm not going to do that. And okay. So yeah. So that's how we're doing that. All right. Another thing about the commuting thing is matching up the transit system. This is another personal, I don't know if anyone else is going to experience this, but with me is how do you make public transportation more palatable, okay? Because there's some routes that only take 45 minutes, some routes that take an hour, whatever. And are you going to really choose the safest route, the one that gives you that extra cushion of time, or you're going to cut it a little closer and end up spending a good portion of your time in a long commute that may get you there too early, then you have to wait around and you're ready, don't have the time to kill, and you're just losing sleep because you don't even have enough time in your schedule to get an adequate amount of sleep and all this, and then, yeah, so how do you use public transportation? And I'm thinking, yeah, instead of getting the worst one, that is the safest one, maybe the longest thing that'll get you to work too early, rather than you picking something that's cutting it a little close. And I'm thinking, the daily grind is going to be too much. That initially, just when I'm getting back into the thing of using public transportation, I'll give myself the extra time, that's fine, until I figure out which route. But once I get back into using the bus thing, I do not intend this time to stick with the safest route, because it will be too much of a grind, just the day in, day out. Too much of your time is being consumed by using the safest route instead of the one that, if you miss that bus, you're going to be late. So, if I miss, once I get to the point where I've gotten everything all set up to use the bus system, I've got my little checklist, that I got my time frames, I know the buses well enough to know which one's the best one to take, and which is like cutting it a little too close, should I opt for that one? And the one that gives me a little extra time, really, is it giving me enough extra time, or is it giving me, how do I put it? Is it risking it too much? I'm not quite sure if I'm expressing myself correctly. Okay, there are some, only people that take the bus will understand this. Some buses, let's say you have to take 2 buses to work. And one bus route will get you to work with only 10 minutes to spare, while another one will get you to work and then you have like an hour. You get to work like an hour ahead of time. And you may be safer and feel safer using that extra hour, but it is cutting into your time so much that it's really grinding you into the ground. Just because it's like an everyday thing, it's really gonna, all that extra time, it is not worth it. This is a personal choice now. We're talking a personal choice. But at this stage, I'm willing to spend a little extra money getting that bus route once I get back into the thing of it. Getting that bus route that only gives me maybe a 15-minute window. If I miss it, what then? If I miss it, I'm going to call Uber. That's where I'm at this point in time. Granted, if I had not used Uber or Lyft before now, I would not feel this way. I would still say, this is too risky. I'm going to go ahead and get if I miss that bus, I can still take the next bus and I'll still be on time. But at this stage, after this much BS, and the fact that I have already gotten accustomed to using Uber or Lyft as a backup, I'm going to go ahead and use Uber. If I miss that bus that only gives me that 15-minute window, if I get there, if I miss the bus that one, I'm going to call Uber. That's where I'm at now. So. And yeah, I know, if you are not accustomed to using Uber or Lyft, you're going to look at that, pay $20 to get to work, when I'm only used to paying a couple of bucks to get to work. How does that even make sense? I'll tell you how that's going to make sense to me. If I'm having a hard time with it, and I will, I'm going to sit down. I'll even take my socks and shoes off to do the math. And I'm going to figure out how much it would cost me if I had a car. I had to pay for insurance and gas and upkeep. Because remember, it may only take 16, 20, maybe $25 to get something fixed on your bike. You take your car into a shop, you don't even walk into the shop and just pay that price. Okay, you're talking about serious money. So if I'm having problems taking the bus and using Uber as a backup, I'm going to take my socks and shoes off and do the math and figure out how much it would be costing me if I had to pay for the upkeep of a car. All right, and hopefully that will clear up any lasting effects of me dealing with having to pay $20 to get to work as a backup to using that bus. That if I miss the bus, I'm not going to get to work on time unless I take Uber. So that's how I'm dealing with getting back to using the bus and not allowing it to become the major grind it was before I had my own e-bike and I could just, So, see, 24 minutes. This is why I wanted a video just for the commuting issues I'm dealing with now. All right. This is Houston Commuting, Part 12. Done with the e-bike for now, so now what? Back to the bus, but not back to the grind. So, using the bus system, but using it smarter than before. All right. Hopefully. Okay. Anyway, that's why I wanted a complete different video for the update onto my commuting issues. So this is Houston Commuting Part 12. The end of our e-bike journey, at least for the moment. If they ever fix this global supply chain thing, and it actually becomes possible for me to acquire an airless tire sooner than 4 months from now, 3 or 4 months from now, or whatever, then perhaps this will be revisited. But for now, I'm going back to the public bus system, but hopefully I'll be using it smarter than I did previously. Still a work in progress, but hopefully all the major points have been established. I don't know. I'm hoping this is the end of my commuting thing, until this situation is rectified, if it is ever rectified. Okay, that's it. Using the bus system, but using it better. Talk to you later, boys and girls. And happy trails. Good luck.